have no idea what my lines are and go on stage and just say them.
Hello! We are here at Sun Sounds of Arizona in Flagstaff, Arizona, and welcome to episode 34 of Untamed Shrews Women Talk Theater, presented by the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. I'm Becki.
And I'm Hannah.
And I'm Dawn.
Today we are discussing stage fright and nerves and how we can move past it when we perform.
But before we get into that, how are you, Shrews?
Hello.
Yeah.
You're so pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm so pregnant. This is going to be my last episode for
Till
a
January,
while.
yeah.
Probably till
January, February maybe.
Like spring.
March. I'll be on maternity leave.
Yeah.
Let's see, December, January, February. So yeah, I'll see you guys sometime in the spring. Just trying to get ready. I was just explaining, I'm so tired. I do not have the stamina that I had at the end of my last pregnancy. I was like still working out and still doing this. And this time I'm like, I'm just tired and I just want to sleep all the time.
Yeah.
But Sean did remind me that last time I was taking like 3-hour naps in the middle of the day, which you just can't do with a toddler.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's just like a different balance of like trying to meet my body's needs right now, which are mostly sleep.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard to sleep because you have horrible, most pregnant women have horrible acid reflux and you get like these weird cramps in your legs all night and you have to pee 17 times.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I need to sleep all the time, but I also can't sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's been kind of crazy. Sean's been great about like if I am sleeping in the morning, getting up with Blake and like hanging out with him, so I can like just get a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're all ready. We had a baby shower. Hannah had an awesome baby shower.
How was it?
It was really fun. Yeah, tons of people came, and we had like fun little like things to do, like make s'mores and tie-dye a onesie and stuff like that. So
Nice.
yeah, we had fun. And then now I feel like I'm like ready. Just gotta, and Saturday I'll be what they call in weeks, which means she could come anytime and she'd be considered full term. So
Woohoo.
yeah, so I'm like, she's welcome to come anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except I have my heart on her being set on her being a Sagittarius like Blake, because I really like the title Mother of Centaurs. So I need
the new Game of Thrones
Scorpio.
spinoff.
Yeah, I was going to say Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, edge out of Scorpio.
Yeah, I needed an edge out of Scorpio, and then we'll go for it.
That's silly. Nice.
Anytime after that. Yeah. So anyway, I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling excited. Oh, Blake is potty training. He just does crazy.
Wow.
I don't know. We got like, someone sent us like the perfect child. They were like, here, you need a perfect child. Because we started all these potty training like courses and videos. And they were like, maybe you're hoping your baby will just decide to potty train. But that's a real like unicorn situation.
Yeah.
And then Blake was like, I'm ready. And we were like, okay, great.
Awesome. What if he's out of diapers by the time Willa comes?
He will. This weekend, we're just going to stop using diapers.
Really?
He's already using the potty.
Wow.
He just decided it was time.
Crazy.
He's the craziest child. I mean, I don't know what I did right to get so lucky, but he's such a good
He's such a good baby.
kid. Yeah.
So
So
is
anyway,
because he's not yet 2, is that
Yeah.
is this like a typical time for that to happen, or I don't know what that
Yeah.
like time frame is like?
the courses we're watching, which we'll still use some of their stuff, say that between 20 to 30 months is ideal. As long as they've hit like a couple of milestones that they need them to hit, like being able to communicate with you, which he obviously can, and like all this other stuff. But they say after 30 months, they can get even more into like their willful toddler stage. So it might get harder again.
Okay.
So it's like, there's like a little sweet spot where you should do it.
The terrible
Okay.
twos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be,
Woohoo.
I know. It's really exciting because if no one tells you how excruciating potty training is.
Aw.
It's like before they would just tell you when their diaper was dirty and you would change it. It was like a whole 2-minute process, but now they're like poop potty, and then you spend the next 30 minutes of your life in the bathroom on the floor
Helping them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like the big news in my life.
Woo! Potties.
Exciting.
Potties.
Babies
Potties
coming.
and babies.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's it.
Nice. Yeah. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm good. Let's see. I just had the craziest 2 weeks of my life. I 2 weeks ago did my one night only Juliet.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure how much we talked about it. Because we took October off, which, by the way, everyone, we have decided that we are going to try every other month. So you won't hear from us again until January, and we're going to see how that feels. It was just getting a little too crazy. Becki and I are crazy with work and Ariel and all those things, and now Dawn, of course, has the second baby coming along, so it just felt like maybe the time to transition. So we're going to give it a go. Tell us your thoughts if you have thoughts. But yes, so we didn't have an October episode, so I probably didn't say much about it, but we remounted Romeo and Juliet, which we always planned to do at NAU, actually, the university here in Flagstaff. So we remounted the summer production, but our Juliet, Christina McSheffrey, she, so awesome, got into grad school, and she moved to Ohio, and she knew all along, even when she accepted the contract back in summer, that she wouldn't be able to come back for the remount. So I was hired as the remount Juliet a couple months ago, but that finally happened on November 4th, and it was amazing. I was very nervous, and to be honest, a lot of the impetus for this theme today, I was very anxious about it, but I just had so much memorizing to do, and I just did so much of it in my bedroom and had to just trust myself that I was doing the work, because I just didn't really have a chance to try it out. But honestly, I think it was one of my best performances I've ever done. I felt very confident. I really loved playing Desdemona a few years ago, and I had a feeling it would be similar, because what I love about Juliet and Desdemona is that they have moments of levity and fun and silliness, but they also have so much emotional depth. So I had a feeling I would love it. And I did. I really did. But I just had the one shot. But my mom and aunt even came out. My mom flew out to see the show. So that was just a busy weekend because they were here. And then I immediately got my wisdom teeth out. As soon as my mom left, I got a wisdom tooth pulled because it was just giving me some trouble. Which is a whole other conversation, but yes, wisdom teeth out. And then immediately Jacob's brother and sister-in-law came to town all this weekend. So I've had a lot of family in town and a lot of responsibilities and medical stuff. So I feel like I haven't had any time really to like work my normal routine or do my like normal workout routine or anything like that, because I've just had people in my house, which is awesome, but you know, you're entertaining people, and I just wasn't feeling well. I had really bad reactions to my meds, so I was just like really dizzy. Honestly, the wisdom tooth itself was fine. It was just my meds that really kicked my butt. But yeah, and now I have a couple weeks until I mentioned it in passing a couple months ago, but Bridge Initiative, a theater company down in Phoenix, hired me to do my cabaret down there on December 4th, which is a Monday, kind of random, but it's actually at ASU, which is awesome. A gorgeous little theater down there with a beautiful Steinway. Super excited. So now that, you know, my Juliet's finally over, I'm going to start just like tweaking my script and stuff and making sure I'm ready for that performance. So if you're looking for something to do on December 4th in the Phoenix area, come out to ASU and see my cabaret. So that's kind of the big stuff, is holidays and just coming off of a bunch of family and getting ready for my show. It's just been busy. I feel like it's going to be January 1st in like a blink. So it's just a race to the finish line at this point.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait for January because I am so stressed at work.
Seriously.
And
but you said December would be kind of like a little sleepier too, right?
I'm hopeful. I at least won't be traveling.
Right.
Well, at least for work in December. Yeah, we're in the swing of things with Polar. We've opened, at the time of recording, we've opened 2 cities. We're in rehearsal for the 3rd. And then next week, the week before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, we'll get started on the 4th and final city that we're opening. So yes, that's just been there's just been a lot.
Crazy.
I did though, so I was outside of LA this past week, and I got to go to what I think is like the #1 restaurant for catering that we've had, or at least I'm calling it that because people have told me how good it was. So I did on my way out of town. I got to like stop there for breakfast. I was like, I'm really excited and can confirm it was very good. So I'm like, okay, y'all are eating well when this place caters for us. Even though that's not my job anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're so busy.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, when you're Santa's Jewish elf,
Yeah.
it's 'tis the season. I don't know. On Wednesday, October 25th, I had my final chemo.
Yay!
Yeah. And less than a week later, Dawn came with me to get my port taken out.
Yes.
And so that's like official.
It's
like
done-sos.
we are not planning on any more chemo.
Yay!
Yeah. So I have like a follow-up surgery in December. My parents are going to come out for, but now I'm just kind of like in survivorship and
Yay.
outside of active treatment. Like, of course, there's
so
still
great.
like meds and stuff, but
And checkups and things.
and checkups and imaging and all that good stuff. But I don't have any more chemo.
Yahoo!
Yay. I'm
yeah.
so excited.
Seriously the best.
Did you decide what to do with your port?
Right now. Okay, so like, because I've been doing a lot of traveling for work, like, my room is a mess, my car is a mess, my port is just sitting on the back seat of my car because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, and I don't have the capacity right now to think about it, so it's just in a bag in the backseat of my car.
Yeah,
like,
Love. They gave me my wisdom tooth, and I was like, yes, I want my wisdom tooth. They're like, do you want this? I was like, of course I do.
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like this is part of my
you.
body. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so strange. Like, I don't want to just throw it away, but also I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Something will
yeah.
come to you. Like the perfect thing will come to you.
Yeah.
And you'll be
An
like,
art
oh,
piece.
that's what to do.
Turn it into an art piece.
An art piece, something. Maybe
Yeah.
it will just live in my car for the rest of
Yeah.
my life. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Good.
Yeah. So we didn't do an episode in October, but I wanted to say I worked with Emerson Theater Company.
Oh, right.
Sorry, Emerson Theater
yeah,
Collaborative down in Sedona. We did Indecent. I was part of the ensemble for that. And that was a really special show to return to. And there were also like quite a few Jewish actors in it as well. Like the first rehearsal that I was at, we said we like lit the Shabbat candles and like said the Hamotzi, which is the prayer over like the challah, and the Kiddush, which is the prayer over wine. So it was just like really special to be able to like do that
Yeah,
like in a
it's
rehearsal.
rare.
Like I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever done that. So
Cool.
it was really nice.
Yay.
That's great.
Yeah. I think that's all for me.
Yeah?
I'm sure it's not.
I mean, there's
but
so
we
much
only
more.
have so much time.
There's so much
I know,
more.
we
I
missed
could
a
talk
whole
about
month,
lots of other things.
It's like, well.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, I did want to say though that all three of us did the fall aerial photo shoot.
Oh, yes.
Which was
Wait, we should
tons of
post
fun.
those. I'll definitely
Yeah.
post those.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
On
such a
Shrews.
blast.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all did it together. It was really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put those on the gram.
It's like the last time I didn't eat real trapeze
Yeah.
for the photo shoot. Since then, I've just been sitting on the floor telling people what to do. So
Spoken like a true manager. Dog. I'm just kidding.
in classes, I'm like, do this. I have an apprentice, so it's not like I'm not letting them
Yeah.
demonstrating anything. But I'm not demonstrating anything, but Simon is. Yes. Do this.
I know, honestly, when we come back in January, I might be done with my apprentice stuff and I might be teaching on my own.
Awesome. Yay.
Crazy town.
You'll love it.
I'm very excited. Oh, I already am obsessed. Every time I come home from apprentice days, I'm like, Jacob, I taught something today. And he's like, you're so happy. And I'm like, I'm so happy.
Yay.
Anyhow, I just can't wait to be a body inclusive aerial teacher.
Yeah.
And encourage people to take their own time and not compare themselves and just understand that everybody is different. Because I feel like so many times you walk into class and some folks are just like whipping their body over the apparatus and you're like, how are you amazing already?
You just
And
got
just like,
here.
yeah, I'm like understanding that it takes
Yeah.
so much time because sometimes we forget that what we do is crazy hard.
Yeah, we do.
We sometimes look at other
Yeah.
aerialists and we're like, they're so good and they make it look so easy that we are like, wow, this is so hard. And it's like, yeah, It's very hard.
My one trick as a teacher along those lines is that I always demonstrate on my non-dominant side.
Oh,
while
nice.
I walk them through it for the first time, because it really helps me figure out like where the
sticky spots are.
Where the sticky spots are and what they might be feeling as far as like
very smart.
strength and pressure. So
That's very
smart. That's just one idea. Demo on your non-dominant side, so you're like, oh, now I know what my students are going through.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say bad side. Non-dominant
side is what we say.
Or left and right. Yes, totally.
Or spicy adventure side.
Adventure side.
I like spicy side too. Yeah.
Adventure side.
And I just want to add on to that, like, you know, I've been doing aerial for 2 years or so, and having gone through what I've gone through, like, I'm building back up my strength, and it's been really hard for me. And even now I'm like, oh, like this is something I learned literally 2 years ago in my first class, and I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just want to say that too, because that's also been on my mind.
And skills also come and go.
Yeah.
Like some things that I was really good at that I got a year ago, I can't do anymore because I lost it. I just haven't done it enough and I have to bring it back. And so it's like skills also, I feel like also in class, sometimes you're like, I need to be able to do every move every time. And sometimes it's like just not your day, like mental health days. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to do that one today because it's scary. Sometimes I just like can't get my body to like do it because it's like I don't want to go upside down today.
I was having this thought the other day in my pole class where I was like, I did this 2 years ago, and then I immediately had the thought of I am not the same person I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I feel you, Becki.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now that you're done with treatment, it can be like.
Right.
Hopefully.
Well, except you're just traveling all the time.
Traveling and that other surgery, but that won't have quite as long recovery time. And I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. We should move on to the topic. We checked in too long.
Anyway, so today's topic, I felt a little inspired. I've kind of two recent things. When I did my show in September, and of course Romeo and Juliet, just recently I have been dealing with I don't know if I would call it stage fright, but nerves and anxiety specifically surrounding memorization. And it's just been making me so like it just consumes my brain. I mean, both my show and, of course, Juliet are just a very heavy load. Yep. It's just a lot of lines. Obviously, my show is entirely me. It's 45 minutes of just me. So if I forget what I'm doing, there's no one there to help me. But I had never really I haven't experienced that in a very long time. And usually I don't experience stage fright or nerves. So it's a fairly new experience. So I'm trying to work through it. So I thought it would be a nice discussion because I'm absolutely certain people go through this, and especially new actors. So anyway, wanted to discuss how we can kind of work through it. And any maybe experiences you guys have had of maybe times you did go up on stage and forget lines. And was there a way that you like got yourself out of it, or stuff you do before the show that calms yourself, or even just memorization tactics to help you feel more prepared? Do you guys experience this, or have you not felt it for a while?
I think I always do. I don't think I've ever had an experience where I didn't.
Really? Because I rarely do.
Both on stage and like, you know, for any kind of aerial performance, anything like that, I get super nervous. I think like, you know, if I get really far into a run, you know, I've done some longer runs of shows. And when I get further into a run, it might start to be something that doesn't come up as much. Yeah. But definitely something that I regularly experience when it comes to getting on stage, especially an opening night or, you know, a short run of a show. It's very typical for me, I guess. And yeah, I think that it's just kind of part of the anxiety of like, am I going to do a good job, or, you know, am I going to do what I want to do, or is everything going to go correctly? It's not usually for me around memorization. I find I can like stand at the edge of the stage and think, I have no idea what my lines are, and go on stage and just say them.
Yeah.
You know, like they're in like that deep part
Deep
of your
recess.
brain.
Yeah.
And so that's always what I count on, is I count on like the lines are there somewhere. And when someone says, you know,
My cue.
says or does
You
the thing
know.
that triggers my line, I'll say my line.
Yeah.
But so I never get nervous about lines.
Really? That's the
actually.
thing that worries me the most.
Yeah, same.
No, I don't think about it at all. I'm usually like, well, I have no idea what I say. I'll go on stage and it will come out.
That's so funny.
Wow. Yeah.
So
If
that doesn't
only.
bother me at all. But
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
So
but-
it's just the like idea of doing well.
yeah, will I do well? Will the audience enjoy it?
it, yeah.
I mean, I feel it in a whole different way as a producer. It is very hard for me to enjoy a Flag Shakes play the first time I watch it, because I am not at all watching the show.
For
I'm
funsies,
watching all of the audience members, and I'm very nervous about what they're feeling. And I'm trying to figure out, do they think it's funny? Do they like it? Do they, you know, what are they? So that is a whole different level of nerves, because I also have no control, because I'm not on the stage and I'm not performing, but I'm sitting there in the audience going like, is this a flop? Are people going to love it? Are they going to laugh? So it's really hard for me to enjoy our plays because my nerves are so high. I don't experience that like at another
Right. Seeing
theater
someone else's play,
company. Yeah, seeing someone else's play is easy enough, because I'm just like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
See what they do.
This isn't my circus.
Yes,
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah, yeah. But even like, you know, Romeo and Juliet and NAU, I couldn't stay and watch the whole thing, unfortunately, because I had to go home. But, you know, it was like, wait, nobody laughed at that line. Everyone laughed at that line under the tent. Why didn't anyone laugh at that line? Are they going to come along for this show? Is this the wrong venue for this show? Can we, like, just the spiral of thoughts makes it really hard. And that's where I get really anxious. As an actor, I feel like it's a benefit, because I go on stage and I have a lot of energy.
Right.
It often affects my breath very poorly, so I have to remind myself like not to be breathy
Yeah.
over my lines if I'm anxious. But
Or
outside
to
of
huff, do the Hollywood huff.
yeah, I just like, you know, kind of, I don't even know how to imitate it, but I get really, really breathy, and I'm talking with my breath, and everything's coming out on breath.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to like remind myself, like, don't do that if you're anxious. That's the only way
Yeah.
I feel like it negatively affects me.
Deep breath.
The anxiety, I think outside of that, it gives me a lot of energy. So when you were like, oh, I did Juliet only once, and I think it was great, and I think it was one of my best performances, I'm like, that makes sense, because if you were super nervous, that was like fueling your show.
Yeah.
Using it.
And that
yeah.
energy is great for an actor.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well, I was so freakishly hyper focused
yes.
because I had literally one chance.
Right. Yeah.
So literally down to the like, I mean, I also like, I had like papers of like what to do next and where to, you know, like, because I was like, I am not going to get this wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, and off stage, I was like, just staring into the abyss, you know, like I was like, no one talk to me. I have so much to do. I have so much to think about. I have daggers to grab and pillows to grab. Yeah. Like,
Did you
just thinking about so
feel
many things.
supported from the people who had done the show during the summer? Like
Totally.
that camaraderie of like, hey girl, we got you. Like if you're on the wrong side of the stage, we'll figure it out for you. Like,
Especially Paige and Marcus. So Paige was my nurse and Marcus was my Romeo. And Marcus is perhaps the chillest human I've ever met. So, like, even when we did, like, our intimacy, it was so sweet. At the end of our intimacy rehearsal, he was like, thanks for making that so easy. And I was like,
Aw.
thank you for making that so easy. Like, he was like, that was so professional. Thanks. And he would just, like, he would be like, he would, like, thank me for, like, doing a good job. I was like, thanks, Marcus. That's very sweet. But yeah, I just had to remind myself. And, you know, it's so funny because this sounds so simple. But with Juliet specifically, I was like, Hannah, you know your lines. You have to listen. You have to listen so hard. If you get lost, all you can do is listen to the other person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're like, I'm supposed to walk to the left and then say this line. And then I'm waiting for them to finish my line for me to say my line.
Yeah.
It's like, I just have to listen to what Marcus is actually saying to me.
Yeah.
And I had to just be like, look into Marcus's eyes. Like, actually look at him. And that was very helpful. I was like, I just need to actually try to connect to Marcus right now, actually listen to what he's saying. But I literally said to Paige, I was like, Paige, if I go tits up, will you please help me? And she was like, of course.
Of course.
That's a good, so like when memorizing, like actually understanding what the person is, what I am
Saying to
responding
you.
to
Yeah.
is like, I mean, this is like, I don't know, like memorization
Right,
101.
yeah.
But it's like oftentimes if I'm having trouble like remembering what my next line is, it's because I don't know what I'm responding
to.
Yeah. Or what the other person is saying or like,
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Because it's
just-
buried in there. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
understand what you are actually doing and the
Yeah.
arc of the character, when you gain information, you give them information. So as long as you're actually listening, you know, you might end up accidentally skipping or something, especially if there's like a repetitive section. But if you're truly listening, you shouldn't like fully forget. You might like forget a transition or a couple words, but I found that really helped me. But yeah, they were very supportive. I mean, honestly, weirdly enough, Juliet's not on stage with a lot of people. It's mostly just Romeo and the nurse.
Yeah.
So between the two of them, who Paige is already a good friend of mine, so was definitely not worried about that. And Marcus and I haven't worked together on stage, but he's been in our last few shows. So as an administrator and as a staff, I know him quite well. And I just knew him to be such an easy human to get along with.
Yeah.
So I knew it wasn't going to be hard. So that was great. But that's fascinating that the lines for you are not the worry.
No.
Because I am not, well, I guess, of course, I am worried about like what people think of me, but I'm not worried about walking out there and doing the thing. I'm afraid of going up. I'm afraid of losing where I am.
Yeah. I'm 100% afraid of going blank and then just being like a deer in the headlights.
Just stuck. Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah. Something that helps me, or well, one of my like pre-show rituals as an actor is if I can be like on the stage or in the space, going through all of my lines from top to bottom. So, and even if it's just like mumbling it to myself or saying the tricky stuff out loud, or in The Importance of Being Earnest, like the one Miss Prism monologue at the end where it was like very important that I did not mix up these
All the
like
different
two
information.
words.
Yeah.
Because in rehearsals when I wasn't like, you know, when I was just like saying the lines and I was like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that was wrong. That was really wrong. And that changes the whole meaning of the show. So like particularly like stuff like that, I'm very like conscious of like, these are the words in this order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get super nervous about missing an entrance.
Yeah.
I freak out about
True,
the
true,
idea
true.
of missing an entrance.
Yeah.
That's really what like will get me, is the idea that maybe I won't come on stage on time. And so like I actually hate being off stage during a show. I would much rather just be on stage the whole show.
Whoa.
Because if I'm in the dressing room, I'm just like, I don't know. Did I miss it? Did I
so
relax too
I never
long?
go to
Did
the
I-
dressing room.
In
I just sit in
college,
the wings.
In college, I was doing a show and it was me and one of like the grad actors. And we almost missed the bows because we were just like chit-chatting in the dressing room. And we're like, this has been going on for quite a while. And then we like made it right in time to like bow.
Walk on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a production of Christmas Carol where I literally just hung out on Ebenezer's bed every time it was backstage because I was like, I'm not gonna, because it was so doubled and so like overlap, and I was like, there's no way I'm missing an entrance. Like this is. So yeah, I get that, just hanging out in the wings. Like I would so much rather do that, but I would honestly rather just be on stage because then I know I'm on stage.
Yeah.
So for me, I like the kind of show where I'm mostly in and out and in and out and in and out. But what I liked about Juliet is that she comes on, but she has these just like little baby breaks. Like she's never gone for long, so it's not like you have enough time to like go to the bathroom or like go sit in the dressing room, but you do have enough time to drink some water, check your entrance, maybe look at the next line.
Yeah. Take a deep
look
breath.
over a speech. Grab your, grab a prop or whatever. But it's never enough time to like get nervous again. It's just enough time to like get what you need to get done.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah. And that's the thing about like a show, or like live performances, theater art, is like once you start, that train is getting to the end. So like hop on board because here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah.
I think all of this goes back to how important the team is.
Yeah.
Because you're also right, trusting everyone else to know their lines, trusting everyone else to make their entrances, trusting everyone else on stage that if you did go up on a line or if you did miss your entrance, they would somehow be able to cover for you and like pull you back into the show without being. So it's like having a really solid team, I think, is the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that
Shout out to stage managers.
stage managers also making sure that you're not still in the dressing room when you should be backstage.
That you've got that prop piece or that costume or
Totally. Yeah. So I don't know. So I think that's really important. So when I was working in Lanesboro, Minnesota at the Commonwealth Theater, I was just an intern. And so I was maybe 1 year out of college or whatever. And we did a really long run of a show, like a super long run of a show. And it was a new playwright play. And I played just like the daughter of the main character, or like the stepdaughter of the main character. Anyway, so I was all alone, and we're just like on a bridge in a scene, and he has, this guy has come back to town, and he has this long monologue, about like why he's there, and I mean, it was just like probably like 3 or 5 minutes of him talking. And I don't talk at all during the entire monologue. I just listen to the whole monologue. And we ran onto that bridge, and I turned around and looked at him, and I could just see in his eyes that he had no idea what to say. And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting because I don't have any lines. So I just started asking questions that I knew the answers were in his monologue, so like probably pretty stupid questions like, why are you here? Or whatever. But we got through the whole scene, and we got off stage, and he like literally like hugged me so hard. He like picked me up off the ground.
Do you know what happened?
I was like, he just said he blanked.
Yeah. So maybe that's why you're not concerned about lines, because you're like, somebody will help you.
Somebody will help you.
Because
even if they don't have any lines.
But that's if you have a scene partner.
If you go up without a scene partner.
Like that's what's scary about my show. If I go up, I mean, Simon is there, my pianist, but there's no one who I'm talking to. I'm not. So if I just forget what's next, I just kind of have to take a moment, which is fine. But I do have to like have that moment of like, okay, what song am I singing?
The thing I like about a solo show in that way, though, is that you can vamp without throwing anyone else off.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and if you do mess up, it's just you.
It's just you. And the audience has no idea. I mean, I've done a couple, like in Phoenix, we used to do something called Poe Fest. And we would it was around Halloween time. But we would act out, like we would do the whole piece from Poe. So some of them were 20, 25 minutes, whatever, like the entirety of the Fall of the House of Usher or Telltale Heart or whatever. And you were just alone on stage because you were supposed to be, like in a room in an insane asylum. But the great thing about that is like if you forget a line or you skip a part or you do a thing, like A, the audience doesn't know, and B, no one else is relying on you. So you're just kind of like, here I go. Or No Spring Chicken. That one was, I think, 60 minutes or something. And I did have a scene partner occasionally, but it was like if I forgot what came next. And then that is where I think what you said earlier, Becki, is really interesting, is what's more anxiety inducing is if you say the wrong thing.
Oh,
yeah. Because I had this whole part about her taking, because it's about a woman trying to get pregnant when she's 40. I had this whole thing about her taking the ovulation tests. And at some point, Jim, our wonderful Jim Warren, who was directing, was like, you keep giving it away by saying the first one I took. Instead of being like,
I took one.
This
took
one
a
was
test.
like
Yeah.
he was like, if you say first, the audience knows there's a second.
Yeah.
If you say second,
Yeah.
they know there's a third. You can't give away like what's gonna happen here by
Yeah.
saying the wrong
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shoot. So then those things do really stick in your mind, and you're like, do not say first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not say first.
Or like things that you probably wouldn't say in real life, but you sometimes accidentally do as an actor, like say someone's name wrong.
Yeah.
Or like call someone by your character's, like name or something where it's like that probably wouldn't happen in real life, but as an actor, there's a possibility because you're not that person. You haven't known them for 60 years.
Yeah.
Or like mispronounce something that you probably wouldn't have as a like real life human being or things like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh no, I would know how to say that if I was actually blah, 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 so.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we can do we kind of talked about memorization a little bit about like really listening. I guess just tactics are really my big advice I can give is like, you do have to prepare. Like you cannot slack. And unfortunately, if you put things off, if you don't memorize on time, your nerves are going to be higher because you didn't put in the work, unfortunately. You didn't put in the time. And that's really where I have to push myself, where I'm like, Hannah, this is no one's fault but you if you don't know your lines or if you don't know your track, if you don't know your choreography. So for me, I try to start as far ahead as I can. I try to give myself a daily goal where it's like, I need to at least look at this every day. And if I can, look at it at least 30 minutes or at least an hour or at least read it before bed every night. Even if I didn't have time to like really sit down and memorize today, I need to look at it every day from like 2 to 4 weeks or whatever before the show. Something I love to do is the letter technique, which I do. I write down every first letter of every word, which it really works for me because it's a step
Just
between
of your stuff. We do the same thing.
Yeah, just of my stuff. And it's a really good step between being fully memorized and physically reading the words off the page. So it's like a nice step in between where it still makes your mind work for the word, but it still gives you a stepping stone. So I would definitely recommend that as a memorization tactic.
Did you learn that from me during Allswell?
No, I learned that from Brianna Conrad
Okay.
down at Southwest.
Okay, I learned it from the laziest actor I've ever known. And when he did it for the first time, I was like, this has to be gold.
This has to work.
If the laziest actor is doing it.
And they were in a literal
hilarious.
they were in a two-person show. They were in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern
Oh,
Are
wow.
Dead, playing one of the
One
two.
of
I can't
them.
remember
Yeah.
if they were Rosencrantz
You're
or
like, so
Guildenstern.
if it works.
And I was like, if that worked to get that actor off book, that must be genius.
Yeah.
It works really well for me.
Yeah, I learned it when I was a stage management apprentice working with some grad
Yeah.
acting students.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah. And then something else on memorization, I mentioned like understanding what the other person is saying, but also, and particularly for me with Shakespeare, like understanding what I am saying.
Yeah.
Like I cannot just memorize the
No.
words in the order that they appear.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
need to know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. Paraphrasing is really good.
Yeah.
Something that Jim really pushed on the Romeo and Juliet cast was when you run your lines, don't be sitting down, which sometimes I still do, but I did try to like run my lines while on a walk or just walk around in my room. Or if I am running lines with a friend, they can sit, but I should try to at least pace or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Just because when you are acting, you're making choices. And at least for me, that's when I forget my lines.
Yep.
When I'm just sitting down, I can say all my lines. But
Yeah.
when I'm making choices, it was actually so funny, guys. I was like, I'm absolutely convinced that when Marcus kisses me, all of it's going to be gone. Because like, when you're rehearsing just in your room, you just say kiss. Or there's a kiss somewhere in that monologue.
Yeah.
But when it actually like breaks it up, so it's like you do have to like get your body moving and like working because it's going to be similar to how you're actually like up and at 'em. But yeah, any other memorization or just like preparation tactics?
There's some great apps.
Yeah.
I use the app Line Learner, and I love it. It has all kinds of options where it's like you record them all and you record your cues and your lines, but then it has all kinds of options about playback.
Oh.
So you can either just leave a pause the length of the line, or you can have it play your line, leave a pause the length of your line, and then replay your line. Or you can have it, you know, leave a pause and then play your line. So like it can kind of like the letter thing, it can be like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So it can play it, you can say it, then it can play it again, you can see if you said it right.
Yeah.
Or it can just leave the spot, or you can say it, then it can play it back to you, you can see if you said it right, whatever.
And is there like, so your cue line, do you record that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, when you're reading it, there's definitely, that's another step. Difference
The
from
pacing.
reading.
Yeah, you set up all
hearing
the
it.
characters and like insert the line,
Ah.
whatever. So recording it is part of the process of learning it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying them all out loud while you're recording it. But then that way, you really can take it for a walk.
Yes,
Because
like,
it's
or
just
in the
on
car,
your phone.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can just play it on your phone while you're walking and like say your line whenever you want to. So I love line. I think it's called Line Learner.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
I've never tried
are
it,
more.
but I've heard Paige talk about it, and I have been meaning to try it, but have not ultimately ever tried it.
Yeah, I really like it. And yeah, if you know you're learning your lines swiftly, or you're going to be like on a plane or in a car or like somewhere else,
Yeah.
it can be super helpful. Or like you were saying, like one time before bed, sometimes on like the worst days where you just don't get to it, you could just like put in your headphones and fall asleep.
Or like while you're brushing your teeth. Or,
and just be like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go. I'll just listen to it
Totally.
time
Yeah.
through. So I would suggest that one. But as far as nerves, I would say, you know, the two biggest things that I always try to tell myself are, one, the audience is on your side. They want you to succeed. They want to see a great show. They want you to have a great performance.
Yeah.
If something happens that's out of your control, they are so with you to get back on track. Like, that's
Yeah.
actually one of the best things that can happen in live theater.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like this summer, the lights got turned off in the middle of Mike Levine's big Malvolio monologue. The audience was so into
With
that.
him, yeah.
When the lights came
Yeah.
back on, like he
Yeah.
had to vamp in between, whatever. They were so into
And
it.
I'm
that's the
sure
beauty of
he
live
was
theater.
being hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's what they're
like
thinking.
stuff like that.
They're
Yeah.
like, I just saw something no one else saw.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're 100% on your side. That helps me with the type of nerves I get, which is way more related to like what's the audience thinking than the line stuff like we've talked about. So I love to keep that in mind, but then also just my forever acting advice, which is to never actually be in character. Just be you
Yeah.
in the situation.
Yeah.
And if you're nervous in the situation, then use it. Why are you nervous?
Yeah.
You know, and it usually makes sense because you're not doing a play where there aren't high stakes situations happening.
Right.
Like you're not going on stage just being chill. Like something is happening
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
So if you're nervous, that's fine. Your character is also probably super nervous because something huge is happening in their life.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, just use it and know the audience is behind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So especially after my September version of my show, I had just like, it wasn't even that bad, but I had like flubbed a line and kind of got behind in like one of my little monologues. And it just like stuck with me so bad. And so when Romeo and Juliet was coming up, I was like first of all, I was just like memorizing so hard because I was like, I'm not going to let this happen again. But something that Jacob just kept telling me, and he was like, you need to think about this, was like, your worth is not in your performance of this one show.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, from a Christian perspective, he was like, Hannah, your worth is not as an actor. Like, you are so much more than just an actor. It's something that you love, and it's your career, and you really enjoy doing it, and you do love it, and you're good at it. But that isn't what makes you Hannah. Like, that is not your worth. So literally, like, before Romeo and Juliet, I mean, I sent up so many prayers, but I was also like, Hannah, your worth is not in your performance. Your worth is not in your performance. And I just had to keep telling myself that if you do mess up, no one will care.
Yeah.
No one will remember. Like, I mean, of course, if something like absolutely like really went wrong. But that's like you got sick or like, you know, something has to really go wrong. And that's something you can't control. Like something really, really happened. You tripped, you fell, you broke your arm, you got sick, you're throwing like something has to go that wrong. And people understand because they're humans and there are humans on the other end.
Yeah.
So I just had to, that was something that actually worked really well for me this time, was literally just like sitting with my eyes closed before I went on stage and telling myself, your worth is not in your performance. And that helped me enjoy going out there and playing, because I was like, if I mess up, I mess up. And that's the way it is. But I wasn't having fun. Like, you have to have fun. Like, we do this because we love it.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not having fun, what am I doing here?
Well, and what are I mean, along the lines of this, your worth not being in it. Also, what are the stakes?
Yeah, it's
This
a
is
play.
This is an ephemeral moment in everyone's life. Like, if you mess up, I mean, it's not, as my dad would say,
It's a
rocket
play.
surgery.
Yeah, rocket surgery.
So it's like,
Cute.
It's a play.
Yeah, it's a play. And, you know, and as important as it is to us, and as important as I believe theater is in the world, it's, the consequences are not dire, right? So we can make mistakes and we can